Good morning everybody. This is being filmed at the new moon in Pisces, and this is a little energy update for the coming week ahead. And what you're looking at here is I like to do my intuitive readings and stuff. Like, I love using cards, but I'm somewhat of a minimalist, and I only have 2 card decks. Physical card decks. I use a lot of the apps just because they're much easier to take along. But what I really like doing is readings based on what I what I find in my morning. Definitely going to be doing some throat chakra clearing. What I find in my morning walks. And this week, the energy overall I'm feeling is having to do with these 3 items that I found today. And there's a kind of a little story behind both of them. So I'm going to show you my stuff. There's like this tiny breeze and my stuff wants to blow away. I'm going to show you this beautiful, where is he? Go like that. Earth dragon that I found this morning, a little earth dragon spirit. This peace tea can was definitely calling out to me, and we're working with the element of water here, and obviously peace, so there's a lot of messages there having to do with peace. Oh my goodness, why won't it just stand up? And then the thing I saw, because I always like to work with 3 things in spirits, like there's one more thing if you can just keep going. And then I was walking and I found this yellow golf ball that says practice on it. So this week's energy is about a couple of things, and I'm going to pause the video and come back and talk to you about what those are. So if you're interested in this week's energy of earth dragons, peace, and practice, then stay tuned. Okay, so I am back. I kind of got to a flatter space and put a little, few little items in my peace tea that I found along the way. I'm just going to sit and talk for a few minutes about each item and how it pertains, I think, to the weekly energy after this new moon in Pisces. And then we'll come back later this week in your feed with pick a card of sorts, and we'll have you pick one of these items and do a energy reading for you on these items. So first, let me talk about the earth dragon, which he's really sweet and cute. And I don't know if you can see, like, his little, let me see, oh, poke him, his little eyes, his face. He almost has like an owl. At first I thought he was an owl spirit, but I've been working more with dragon energy, and he's more of a dragon, just the shape of his body. Well, this little spirit body, he's more of a little dragon to me. He almost looks like an Asian dragon in a way. So this particular spirit energy for me, and it came about, and there's water in the background. There's always always try to have water in the background, so maybe a little slightly noisy, but I don't know, there's not always fancy backdrops and tripods when I want to film, so I just go with what I have, kind of guerrilla style. But this particular little spirit, I found when I was asking, I was thinking about my being in this place, this space that I'm in here in South Texas, and I think this will resonate with a lot of you that are either seasoned light workers and those of you just on your path. And this is all information just kind of channeled through from source, from our guides. For those of you that are listening to this, you're here listening to it for a reason. You were called here by your guides or your higher self. So just know that there's messages for you in these readings. But I was thinking about, like, why am I in South Texas? Because believe you me, South Texas is not anywhere where I ever thought I would have to come back to ever again, okay? So there was a lot of karmic clearing and healing that had to be done in this space. And so I was really against my lower self-will, I guess. My higher self and my guides and my soul contract led me back to Texas, because I would have left the West Coast ever if I didn't have to. Definitely not by my own volition, which is why I just had a series of events happen in late 2017 that kind of, I felt, forced me to leave the West Coast and end up back in a place that I said I would never come to again. And I've kind of landed in a slightly different location than I was before, but nonetheless, what I was thinking about when I found this dragon, so here's your message if you resonate with this, is I was thinking, like, why am I here? Okay, there was a lot of healing here, so I have to thank Source and my team and guardian angels and all that and my higher self and all that for leading me back here to experience that healing. Because if I hadn't experienced this healing and the experiences that I did upon returning to this place, then I probably wouldn't be here talking to you now, because I probably would have given up on my soul mission back then, right? So I had a lot of learning to do to be able to be here speaking to you now. And when I asked Spirit, like, okay, I feel like my learning in this space is done, why am I still here? I got a very interesting channeled message, which I think will pertain to any of you that right now might be feeling like, quote unquote, like stuck in a certain location. And if you hang around too, I'm going to do some light language clearing for our throat chakra at the end of this. But I don't want these to be too long either, so let's just hope I don't talk. I can tend to talk for a while. But I did a very interesting channeling. And so for those of you that are awakening, or you've been awakened, if you've been awakened for a while, you probably know that you have other quote-unquote spiritual duties other than just kind of what you might consciously do out in the physical world. Like, whatever, taking care of family members, holding down your job, or just doing your day-to-day tasks. And all light workers, in some respects, mostly starseeds, but also some earth seeds, do what's called planetary grid work and gatekeeping. And before you consciously were awakened, you were just placed in certain locations around the globe because your light or your DNA structure was needed there to help uplift the energy of the planet. And so you may have just felt like, I'm here, like I'm being drawn to a certain place, but you didn't know why. And that's mainly why. It could be other reasons, like relationship-wise and so forth, but if you're drawn to the land of a particular location, then usually that's because your energy was needed there. Well, coming to South Texas, okay, we need to hydrate a lot this week too, because I've got two different sources of liquids going on around me. This tea showed up, and then I have my water bottle, keeps calling to me. But the message, I'll finally get to it, was somewhat exciting in a way. Like, I didn't feel so bad after Spirit told me, like, why am I stuck here in South Texas? And I'm not stuck. So you're not necessarily stuck. So we need to raise our vibration above feeling stuck in a certain location, and know that at times when we're called to places that kind of seem like we went there against our will, that we are being called there for a higher reason. And in this case, the message I was given was that my light, my DNA signature, and my frequency was needed to uphold some southern gates across South Texas. And I found a very, and those southern gates go from like New Mexico to the Gulf of Mexico and Louisiana, and there are some portals within the Gulf of Mexico that have to do with Atlantean timelines. So that's the sacred masculine side of things. There's also some very interesting, although I haven't been there in a while, but I lived in Galveston and around Galveston as a child for quite some time. There's some very interesting vortex energy in Galveston, Texas, and since then they've built some very cool pyramids, you can look that up, that mimic some of the Egyptian pyramids. so I was told, you know, I'm here for this period of time, which they told me how long the period of time was. It's a little bit longer than I wanted to be, but I just have to be patient. It's really not that long, within the next year or so. I'm like, when can I leave this place and go back home? Because to me, home is the West Coast, which is along the whole Lemurian timeline, the divine feminine. And I spent a lot of time there. But it was like, your energy's needed here. I'm holding down some of these southern gates right now. And it's not just me, obviously. It's not like there's no egoic, like it's just me holding down some gateway. There are other light workers here helping. But this area down here needs a lot of a light right now. It just needs a lot of light. There are not a lot of light workers here right now. And the ones that are have very strong high vibe frequencies. So if you feel kind of like, I'm this lone wolf in this space that I really don't want to be, just know that you're there for a reason. You are helping with the planetary ascension, and peace tea is moving forward, so I have to talk about peace tea now. But just, it kind of gave me a good feeling like, okay, so I guess I can hold this space for a while longer and not feel so grumbly about having to be here away from my oceans and all of that. And I think soon there is a trip coming down to the Texas oceans, which is where I spent a lot of time as a child. I really do want to go check out those pyramids and just see what kind of, when the time comes, my team will let me know, but just see what kind of grid work they need me to do down there. So if grid work and gatekeeping is of interest to you and this message resonated with you, then that's probably why. And in coming videos and all that, I mean, I'll dive more into that. So that's where this earth dragon comes from. This earth dragon energy is these ley lines, our dragon ley lines within the earth. And new ones are being opened up as old ones are closing down. And as some of the chakras of Gaia are changing, more of us are being called into planetary service to help establish those new crystalline grid structures within Gaia's internal framework. And I think that that's just kind of a really cool job that we can kind of be proud of, that we're helping out with that and kind of rise above the negative vibe of like, why am I here? Which moves on to peace tea. Okay, so I was walking and I found Earth Dragon, and a while later, and then I wanted to go swing on some swings that are by my house, and someone left behind their little peace tea can, and I just really like the images on some of these cans, these tea cans. And this one is obviously peace 2 fingers. It's holding up vegetable. I don't know what that is. Is that a tomato or something? I have no idea. It's got some really cool symbols, but they're all mainly water symbols. Snowflake, water drops, and then made with peace, love, and happiness. And there's a smiley face and some heart glasses. So the imagery of this is kind of where you want to get your vibe to be this week. If you possibly can, rise above any negativity or things happening around you. Get into some more, definitely be drinking, I told you, a lot of water. I'm going to do this light language to clear our throat chakras. And you're going to want to flush that stagnant energy out with a lot of fluids. So mainly water, but herbal teas, stuff that doesn't necessarily dehydrate, and get as much plant-based foods into you as you can. This is a vegetable, and then berry is up here as the fruit. So just hold on to that energy there. Stay in your peace, stay in your power. This hand to me looks a very powerful hand, holding up those peace sign. And again, as light workers and as earth angels and as starseeds that are doing our soul mission right now, it is our divine duty to, as much as we can, stay in that peace and harmony. And the higher you go in your ascension process, the more that you embody your higher self, the easier this will become for you. And I posted a video on my Instagram live yesterday that talked about that. So I come in on a lot more on my Instagram. If you're interested in that, it's the same thing, TLC for the soul. Just doing, being of service and doing readings and healings for people, like free readings and healings for people, as much as I can. over there on my live. So, and then the last thing that comes up for this week is practice, and I think that just exemplifies what we just said about peacekeeping and being an earth angel and being on your soul mission. Is you're going to have to practice at it. It can come naturally, but it takes practice with meditation. It takes practice with contemplation. It takes practice of going within and really feeling like embodying this energy of peace and this energy of harmony. I also spoke yesterday on my Instagram live about, especially yesterday, a lot of things were coming up. So as we integrate this new moon energy over the course of the next couple of days, depending on when you're watching this, you may look back in retrospect and go like, if you're watching it after, and go like, oh yeah, that's what happened. But it's practicing being of a higher vibe and being on a higher trajectory timeline. And I showed them kind of as two planes. Like there's no 3D necessarily timeline anymore, but people are now moving into the 5D, and even people that don't realize they are, because not everybody chooses to awaken, are in the 5D, so they're getting shaken up by a lot of this energy. But there's two timelines, like this lower vibrational and this higher vibrational one, and you can't visualize yourself being in the higher one as much as you can. And I talked about yesterday, like getting thrown into a lot of unexpected circumstances, and really kind of patted myself on the back. I thought I did pretty good about staying in my peace and in my power, and definitely staying shielded from the things that were happening around me. So don't forget, and this does take practice as well, is you've got to clear your energy every single day. I don't care how you do it. I mean, look up a YouTube video. I've got some. They're all over the place. I've got a free MP3 download on my website. If you go to my website, which is in the description of this video, this same video is also on YouTube. It's an angelic light language clearing that clears all 12 chakras. But you've got to do some sort of, oh, these sirens. That's just spirit telling me that this is important, okay? That siren is like, yes, this is very important. Everything in a reading is part of the reading. So it's important to clear and shield your energy every day. So just find some way to do that, whether you download my video or go do somebody else's, or just do whatever feels right to you in the moment to get your chakras clear and your energy clear every single day, okay? It doesn't matter when, just whatever feels best to you. Sometimes I do it in the morning when I wake up. Other times it feels better to do it before I go to bed at night. And I don't even listen to sometimes I listen to my own stuff. But there's a couple of people on YouTube that I really like to listen to that do some really cool stuff with that. So if you're interested, just let me know in the comments and I'll let you know who those folks are. But it does take practice, and shielding your energy is also very important. So don't just think because I've risen to a higher timeline, I'm an embodiment, that I no longer have to shield my energy. It is still very important to shield your energy. And again, it doesn't matter how you do it. Just do it in a way that comes innately to you, or ask your team to do it for you. Just call in your spirit guides and angels and ask them to help with shielding. But it's very important to stay shielded and to check that shield kind of whenever you feel like you're being pulled into lower energy. Just check that shield. And sometimes I get in a space where I just feel overwhelmed with whatever might be happening around me, and I don't even feel like I can mesh the words together to do the clearing and shielding. And then at that point, I'm just like, Archangel Michael, can you please just take over and help with the clearing and shielding, and he'll take care of that right away. And that way I don't have to think about what I need to do. So let's go ahead now. We are going to do this throat chakra clearing, and then I'm going to, like I said, come back later on in a few days and do like a pick a card with these for you all, and you can pick one and get messages from that. But right now, when I got on, like, my throat chakra was all bound up. There's a lot of emotions coming up with this new moon, and like I said, that energy of integration is going to take place over the next 2 to 3 days after the moon. And then even if you see this afterwards, everyone needs chakra clearing. And if you found it either difficult to speak up, speak your truth, or speak your piece, or you feel like maybe you're somebody who just talks a little bit too much and is a little bit too, throat chakra is overactive, And I'm going to show you, I think at some point I'll do a video to talk about overactive and underactive chakras. But let's just do this throat chakra clearing. This is going to help clear it out and balance it out. And throat chakra is also where a lot of your creative energy comes out through and is expelled through. So we want that energy center to be nice and bright and clear for any creative projects or anything you're working on that has to do with your soul mission and soul purpose. So all you have to do if you're interested in receiving this healing is just, become receptive in a receptive state. You can, if you want to, in your mind or out loud, let your higher self, just let the universe know you are accepting this healing. That kind of opens up the energy so that I can transfer this healing to you. And it's not necessarily coming from me. Let's see actually who is bringing this throat clearing light language through. The Lyrans. Okay, so my Starseed, just home base, I guess, is mainly Lyran and Pleiadian, although I do have other star families that I've had incarnations on, if you want to call it that. But anyway, so I mainly, every time I bring in light language, just my mother tongue, if you want to say it like that, is Lyran Pleiadian. So the Lyrans are going to come in. The Lyrans are feline in nature. Every time I work with them having to do with personal power, the warrior spirit. They are a warrior nation, they're saying, and I just kind of get emotional because they did lose their home. And a lot of us that were Lyrans ended up in the Pleiades and had a lot to heal from and learn from the Pleiadians. So let's bring through this Lyran light language. I think what you're going to have here too as well, because I've got the blue and the yellow, is you're going to have a throat chakra clearing, and the Lyrans always clear my solar plexus. So there's going to be some solar plexus clearing and healing and just bring you back into your personal power. So here we go. Just close your eyes, or you can keep them open. Just be open to receive and know that you may feel something right away. Other times it takes 24 to 48 hours for these healings and these codes and downloads, if you receive them, to be integrated into yourself to where you might notice, notice more about them. All right, here we go. Ereshkurne narrates karoto me karene orom ari skiri wushmine ariketush kiri arane me arkatoro haren orikine arikere to me karate skurmana arikere to marate churtu man karate to skurte to ene karate to skunete tarikere to skini tara harekara tu churu manete kiri skurte chu Eme corona ba areketuskana mara hare kara hare eringa rintuskun olinkan turi krini ori prianya ari yum nyare kara areketiskron mana areka ordo brekin koritutus pitigiri tultutnya arek ari tu urtin arn ai arikotutu rini harikatada haran Harikentun, hariketinia, rin I urun ay mararki, kos kurun dahai. Apa ni? Anon yung mararki niya uro ang yung churku kama ariku kuriti chu ke kuruku churu chu pruku maariki kuruku chijam tirikane churku tu prane orikitu. Just take a deep breath. Every time I receive a download like that, it's just to pause for a moment just before I can speak. That was really nice and peaceful. I saw some sunflowers and some yellow little petunias as I was doing that transmission. So I hope you have a beautiful week, and stay tuned for the next video. If you're interested in possibly receiving a free reading from me, then I would hop over to Instagram and just check me out, follow me over there, or turn your notifications on or whatever so you know when those happen. And I will see you all again in the next video. Take care. I love y'all. Bye.